All right, welcome back to ABA exam review and the continuation of our RBT practice exam series where we're going through another set of questions together and breaking them down. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Please like and subscribe. Check out btexamreview.com for all of our study materials, including our combo pack. When you pass your exam, let us know so we can include you in the Sunday shout out. Work hard, study hard. Let's get going. You're implementing a behavior plan and start to feel uncertain about a couple of procedures written into the plan due to how the client is responding to the procedures. What should you do? All right, in every what should you do question, you're going to assume you're already a technician unless otherwise stated. So in this case, you, the technician, are implementing this plan and you're feeling uncertain about some of the procedures. Now, as you know, the technician, yourself, your primary role is implementation. It doesn't mean you just implement without questioning or analyzing what you're doing. If you are feeling uncertain about the procedures, especially because how the client is responding, you need to do something about that. You don't just push through because your supervisor wrote it or you were told to implement it this way. If you're having uncertainty in the sake of one, doing no harm, and two, maintaining our client dignity, and three, remaining ethical, you've got to act. So, what should you do as the technician? A, stop implementing those procedures until the client feels more comfortable. Now, that's a very subjective way to look at it because that's going to be your opinion on is the client comfortable or are they not? So, yes, you're going to want to stop the procedures, but is there a better, more objective way to handle this? B, stop implementing the plan altogether until you can talk to your supervisor. B is much better. It's objective, it's following our task list and our code where you, as the technician, should be communicating with your supervisor openly and consistently. And it's going to put a hold on anything that might make the client uncomfortable until your supervisor clears it. Now, if your supervisor reviews it and tells you to continue doing the plan as written because that's okay, then you continue doing the plan. But until you get that approval, you should stop, one, again, to prevent harm, and two, to remain ethical. C, continue implementing the plan, but attempt to contact your supervisor as soon as you can. You're going to want to stop that plan just briefly. And if you can't get in touch with your supervisor, move on to something else. The main thing here is the client is responding to those procedures in a way that's making you feel uncertain. And if you haven't discussed that yet, you should stop. Our number one objective and our number one goal is do no harm. Again, when you talk to your supervisor, if they tell you to continue, then you continue. D, continue implementing the plan as written unless told otherwise. You want to stop the plan and you want to talk to your supervisor. The task list, the code is written in a way where you, the technician, should always be communicating all concerns with your supervisor as soon as possible. Last night, you ate a different brand of hummus than you normally get. You then experienced stomach pain the rest of the night and told your wife you would never buy that hummus again. What occurred? All right, so we have a behavioral question. Your behavior had changed, right? And what occurred to make you change your behavior? We know you ate a different brand of hummus than you normally get. So that was your response. Your consequence was stomach pain the rest of the night. As a result, what did you say? You said, I would never buy that hummus again. So you had a different brand of hummus. You ate that hummus. The consequence was stomach pain. You then said, I'm never buying that hummus again. So let's first look at behavior change. Now, this is just you saying it, right? But that's the information we have to go off of. If you say you're never going to do something again, your behavior is likely to decrease in the future. At least that's what you claim. And so if your behavior is decreasing because of the consequence, you were punished. So we can assume the stomach pain led to punishment. Now, was that stomach pain a positive or a negative? With positive, something is added. With the negative, something is taken away. And so since you ate the hummus and the stomach pain was added, that's going to be positive. So what occurred? Positive reinforcement? Well, we know it's not reinforcement because reinforcement increases behavior. If you loved that hummus and said, I'm going to only buy this hummus from now on, then you would have received reinforcement. But you said you're never buying that hummus again because of the stomach pain. what was the result of positive punishment? Again, it wasn't negative reinforcement because it's not reinforcement, and it's not negative punishment because the consequence was added. So when you're doing a consequence question, ask yourself, was the consequence added or taken away? Was the stimulus change added or taken away? And then was your behavior increased or decreased? The supervisor puts together an intervention consisting of antecedent strategies. To accurately measure the effectiveness of the intervention, they decide to use a continuous measurement system. Which of the following methods would be most appropriate? Now, this is a pretty straightforward question if you are fluent. And remember, fluency is the number one priority in your studying. Become fluent, and the test gets so much easier. Now, what do we know so far? Because we are trying to choose a measurement system. We know your supervisor has this intervention, which has antecedent strategies. And to measure it, we're going to use a continuous measurement system. And that's the key to this question. We know we're using a continuous measurement system. So our answer choice can only consist of measurements that are continuous. So let's look at A, for example. Use an interval recording system to capture SIB and analyze the data daily using a graph. The rest of it doesn't matter because interval recording is discontinuous. We need continuous. And so they're long answer choices, but all you have to know is, well, interval recording isn't a continuous measurement system. I'm not going to pick A. And so this is a great fluency question because if you're not fluent, you're going to get a little confused with some of the answer choices. Let's look at B. Use time sampling to record SIB and compare the data with other team members to check for agreement. Nowhere in the question are we talking about SIB or agreement. It doesn't matter though, because time sampling isn't continuous. And it's a good example of everything you need to answer the question is going to be in the question prompt. And so all we need to know is we need continuous measurement. Interval recording is not. Time sampling is not. So let's look at C. Use frequency recording to note each instance of SIB and analyze the data daily using a graph. Perfect. Frequency recording is our continuous measurement. It doesn't matter that we haven't talked about SIB or graphing. We're just answering the question. And the question says, we're using a continuous measurement system. Which of these is going to be appropriate? That's going to be C. Use frequency recording to note each instance of SIB and analyze the data daily using a graph. The rest of the stuff is there to try to throw you off or confuse you. If you're fluent, you're just going to pick the continuous measurement system and then move on. And that's going to be C, frequency recording. Your family took a trip to the beach for the 4th of July and brought all the children along. First day on the beach, your daughter saw a caterpillar crawling along on the sand. Your daughter yelled out, "Snake, snake," and ran away. How might you describe your daughter's behavior given this information? We have a behavior question, and we're looking at the daughter's behavior. Always identify whose behavior am I analyzing, and it's the daughter's in this situation. We know you're at the beach, took a family trip. On that beach, the daughter saw a caterpillar, and then she said, "Snake, snake." So clearly, she's learned this response of snake, snake, and now she has seen a caterpillar and is engaging in that same response. Clearly, the caterpillar is not a snake, but the daughter has generalized snake to caterpillar. Knowing this, how could we describe the daughter's behavior? A, maintenance. With maintenance, where you're going to have some sort of teaching, which is then removed and the skill persists. We don't talk about teaching in this particular question, so we're not really looking at maintenance of this snake response. What about B, stimulus generalization? With stimulus generalization, you're going to have a response that occurs across multiple stimuli. And the daughter, in this case, is generalizing a response across multiple stimuli. She's gone from identifying snake and is now seeing a caterpillar and engaging in that same response of snake, snake. So we could, right? How might you describe? We could describe this as stimulus generalization. Could we also describe it as C, overgeneralization? Sure. Snake should not be said in the presence of caterpillar because 1, a caterpillar is not a snake. 2, it's not going to be a very socially valid way to identify a caterpillar. So the behavior is happening too much. It's happening at inappropriate times. The daughter has definitely overgeneralized snake to this caterpillar. So we could say The daughter's behavior represents stimulus generalization. It also represents overgeneralization. So we could say D, both B and C. You took a long road trip 2 weekends ago that took almost 16 hours. Last weekend, you drove another 10 hours. You told your friend that you drove a total of 26 hours on your trips. What type of measurement did you use when describing your trips to your friend? Now be careful here. Another measurement question, and it's asking about the type of measurement you used when you described your trips to your friend. We know you told your friend you drove a total of 26 hours. Whenever we have a total of something, right, we've counted something up. Okay, we're using a count because you took two trips. You took one that took 16 hours. So the duration of that trip was 16. You drove another that was 10. So that trip duration was 10. Those two trips were measured in duration. But when you told your friend the total number of hours on your trips, what did you use? Well, you used frequency, the frequency of hours you drove. Why wasn't it duration? Because duration is the time of a single event or response. You described your friend the total number of hours you drove. If you said my trip took 16 hours, the duration was 16 hours for that one trip, yes. The duration of the other was 10 hours, yes. But you said I drove a total of 26 hours. So you counted how many hours total, and that's how you describe your trip to your friend. Again, duration is the measure of a single response or a single event. Is it rate? Well, rate is frequency over time. We're not looking at frequency over time here. You simply said, I drove a total of 26 hours on my trips. The total number of hours was 26. I counted up the hours and got 26. And then time sampling would be like momentary time sampling. Clearly, you're not using momentary time sampling here. You're not using discontinuous measurement. You continuously measured how long it took on all your trips, and then you counted up those hours, and that's how you described it to your friend. Thank you for watching. Check out btexamreview.com for all of our study materials, including our combo pack. When you pass, let us know so we can include you in the Sunday shout out. Work hard, study hard. See you soon.